Good morning to day 105. We have a few men on site trying to move a compactor up 9-10 feet. They're quite heavy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 people. Classic. Right, where are we? Let's have a quick look where we are. Wasn't here most of yesterday. Also returned last night in the dark, so I couldn't see a great deal when I came here, but obviously clearly not pouring again today. The staircase hole has been boarded, but not as I asked it to. Always handy. Okay, rebar's been laid out. Some of it's been tied. Am I saying that? It might be all tied. Need to get some more smocks under there. Yeah, they've not finished all over there, look. Drainage, plumber's got the drainage and everything up. I should say down. Still hasn't got the actual tubes through. I asked for 8-inch. That's clearly not 8-inch. Okay. Shit, man, this is big steel. This is big steel. All the way across, both sides. Both ways. So they've also got to finish this off today. As we said, the welding was done, that was tested. This still hasn't been poured. I think they're meant to be put in... Oh, why are you saying that? Maybe that is as high as it needs to go. I'm not too sure how they're actually going to structure the drainage through there at that height though, that's the only thing. But it might be high enough. So they might have to go through the actual the rebar somehow. We have a little bit of an issue with the water tanks. The water tanks, we were going to get one bespokely made, but it's massively expensive and takes too long. So we were going to go for 2 smaller tanks. They're too high. So we now may have to go for 4 450s, so 450 gallons each. So that'll be 4 of them in there to get the low height that we need in order to access, both from a service point of view and from a piping point of view. The plumbers also, they've got the feed coming back here for something. I'm not too sure what that is, but they also need to run, it might be that there, the drainage from the roofs have to come through here and then through this boxing here into this, which is the irrigation tanks. So the roof for upstairs here and the roof that's going to go over here are all going to feed over and down into one and then come down into these pipes and then fly through into here. We've got ventilation that's got to come through in this corner here for downstairs. That's got to come out here. So they're going to go quite low now to try and miss those 3. And they also need to take another ventilation there, another one over there through this marl. And that's got to be 8-inch. So I'm assuming that these pipes that they're cutting at the moment aren't anything to do with downstairs ventilation. That has to be 8-inch. The other thing the plumber was saying to me yesterday is that here, for waste, they use 3-inch. I was like, you haven't seen my kids, they'll block that in 10 minutes. But apparently, because the city has physically said, or the governing regulations have said, the toilet itself is 3-inch. So why do you then need 4, 5, 6-inch coming out the back? So regulation here is 3-inch. So everywhere around, I mean, there's one there. That one looks bigger. What's that? Don't know what that one is. That might be something to do with feed coming through. But when I look around at the actual bathrooms, I mean, that looks quite big. It's not 3-inch, it's probably 4-inch. That's a bathroom. That's 4-inch. That over there, I think, is where the laundry area is. So that will be general water. So I'm not too sure what that is. That might be something different. That there. That's just that's a gutter. So gutters again 3-inch. And then here, he's running the actual gutters for the roofs down. Again, they're 3-inch. Yeah, they're 3-inch. So yeah, for waste, it all seems to be quite small, which is quite weird. But anyway, Yesterday they finished off chiselling those blocks off as well, on both sides. So at the moment, I'm not too sure what we're waiting on. I think it's just to get all of this done, because some of this still isn't tied together. You can see it all moving. It's not tied together, and the smocks aren't underneath enough. So they've got to finish this bit off. There's loads of rebar everywhere, so I'm assuming they've still got to finish that as well. Obviously underneath they've got to acro more. There's only a few acros, so they've got to bring in a high volume of acros to take the weight of the cement. Hopefully that will start taking place today. On here, as you can see, this, I don't know what they call these tails, but they've been doing the tails that come out, and they were also doing the tails here yesterday as well. It looks like they haven't finished the tails on that end. They've gone all the way along here, it's all the way along there, so that's obviously clearly got to be finished today, hence the reason why there's some rebar on the floor. On the floor itself, bear in mind this floor has been bloody left down for God knows how long. We've got to put the air conditioning holes down, which haven't been done yet, and that means we have to cut some rebar. This is also, I told Phil that he needs to actually have a 2-foot return coming out here, just in case when we come down there's not enough room. If there's no room head height wise when you get to the end, then we're going to have to do a turn. So I've asked him to actually block that out, so that when we pour the concrete we have that piece there, and then if we don't need it then we can just formwork over that. But obviously if we get to a point where we just do the concrete here and we don't allow for that, and when the staircase goes in we find ourselves having to duck to go underneath here, then we're going to have to do a massive cut in the concrete here, which is going to cause us major pain. So we're best off just preparing for that now, just in case. But he clearly didn't listen. And I even said yesterday, Phil, don't forget that side return. Yep, no problems. Oh, wow, I must be talking to myself. Or in different. Talked to Phil about getting that done this morning, so that's more work to rectify. No steel benders here at the moment. The steel benders are normally here quite early. The container for steel is open, but I think that's the other guys getting some bits and bobs out. So they've got to get that done. So today I'm going to be finding out when we're meant to be pouring, because at the moment we still have a shed load of things to do. The big man himself is meant to be here at 8:30, so that means 9:30 in his book. So at 9:30-ish, I'll be able to get to sit down with people and go through a bit of a plan on what needs to be done, who's doing what, and what's the end result. Because every day there's a different date for pour. It's going to be Monday, it's going to be Tuesday, it's going to be Wednesday. Went out on Thursday, no one said anything, so I'm assuming they're aiming for Friday. That technically means probably Monday, which is a shame because we could have been done by now. So anyway, I need to pin them down today, get a solid plan out of them, get this bloody thing finished and get some concrete poured. And at some stage, these guys might even get the compactor up. That'd be amazing. Okay, so we have quite a few things going on. Let's get up on the steel. Whoa. Right, so we've been jet washed. More mile turning up. So I own a small percentage in a reasonably large mile plant on the island somewhere. So Smithy's just been up here jet washing off the steel. Not too sure he's managed to get all of it done, but at least something's been done. The aim apparently is to pour tomorrow, although I keep on telling everyone this camera we're pouring tomorrow, but that is the aim. This is the stairwell down to the basement. It still needs to be cut out across here. They're going to be doing that soon. The steel around the corners need to be done as well to make sure the strengthen element is looked after. As you can see, we have probably 6 or 7 labourers still trying to finish off the mile, which again is now the ground floor of the annex. We're going to leave the storage tank element open and probably do that in wood rather than concrete in case there's any problems with the water tanks. Downside to that is the floor would have to come up to get the tanks out. So rather than concrete in that, we'll probably go with just a wooden affair. The downside on the island here is, to say, termites and bugs where wood's concerned, they love it. So it's always better not to use wood if you can help it. You don't have a choice there, so we'll have to get that done in wood and then think about the flooring finish, because obviously that might interfere with what flooring I need to go with. As you can see, I mean, where that pipe is there is pretty much the end of the house. The patio itself is coming together. Still lots of rebar guys working on there. And then there's rebar guys still working on the outside of the patio areas as well. So that still needs to be strengthened up and tied together properly. Still lots of steel everywhere, so I'm not too sure what this is all up before. But that's going to have to disappear. And they're also going to have to edit along here like we've said in the past. They still haven't done that yet. We have 4 sets of bifolds, so there are 2 sets going in there, for instance. The wind and the rain comes in this direction, but we can't afford to come down by probably 2 inches for the relevant rain gap that you would need, because the steel at the front needs to be 6 inches. If we go 4 inches, then the concrete gets very close to the steel, and with the salt air and the wind and the rain that's going to come from that direction, we really will start having a risk of blowing concrete at the front. So we're going to potentially try and do some form of slope, so try and do an inch slope. I don't think that's going to make a massive amount of difference. If we get a heavy blasting rain at that door, you are going to get rain potentially being forced under the doors into the room, which is a shame, but I don't think there's any other way around that. But they've still got to do the edit for that inch anyway, so that's something they've got to do. The plan at the moment, all the boxing up is taking place around the outside from the carpenters. They're downstairs boxing up, so as you can see, the boxing up now is all the way along here to the very end. They've now got to finish off the back here, all the way around here as well. So I think it goes to here. So they've got to go around this corner here, all the way along on the outside. And then all the way around the property, you've got to prop that up with like acros. Because when this concrete gets poured, the weight that's going to be pushing against the sides is absolutely humongous. So we may very well need to put off until the weekend. So anyway, we're aiming for tomorrow, but there's so much work to do on the boxing, the rebar, and again, all this has got to be boxed in. All that's got to be boxed in along there. All this has got to be boxed in along here. So much boxing still to do. And when that concrete comes and it starts pouring, it is a momentum that you just physically can't stop, and we need to pour the whole thing in one as well. So, as I say, I think it's over 100 square cubic meters of concrete, which is, for a concrete, I've only been involved in 2 or 3 pours in my time, and I think the biggest one I've been involved in is about 30. Downstairs, I think, was 35. Yeah, so this is going to be over 100, so it's going to be a massive pour, absolutely massive. And so much to get ready before we get to do that as well. So at the moment, I would say, we can still aim for tomorrow. If we could get done tomorrow, bloody hell, that'd be brilliant. And I'd much rather be rushing at the last minute, trying to sort a few things out rather than not pour again. As I've shown you, the steel on the floor here is starting to look a bit sorry for itself. So really could do with getting that poured regardless. So we shall see how it goes. Everyone's here, everyone's pulling, pushing. So we could get it done. And the man himself is on site, effing and jeffing and pushing and pulling. So fingers crossed, with his momentum and his keenness to get it done tomorrow, it will be done. So fingers crossed, that's the aim anyway. I'll check in a bit later on. 2:05. Just returned to site after a couple of hours being out trying to find some bits and bobs. Everyone's still flat out. Not too sure where they're going to be able to get it done for tomorrow, but see everyone giving it a good go, that's for sure. Rebar guys are still cracking on with their floor. Most of the plumbing's done. In fact, the plumber's about to shoot off. Electricians are over in that corner there, getting their electrical elements through to ensure that they're all good as well. Up against it, and the man himself is not around driving people, so let's check in with him, find out what's going on. Again, I just can't see this happening tomorrow, so stuff's happening, but still so much more to do. So anyway, I'll check in a bit later on with him and find out what's going on and report back. 4:45. Everyone's shot off because it's 4:30. Let's have a quick catch up on where we are and everything. Get up in this massive great floor as always. Check out what's going on. Try and get through without breaking my neck. It's always a mission. In flip-flops. Flip-flops. Up on the roof in flip-flops. So, quite a lot done today, but still not enough done to ensure a pour takes place tomorrow. So, let's have a quick look. Doesn't look a great deal different than what I showed earlier on, but there has been a lot going on. To a certain extent, all of the rebar near on all of the rebar is tied off and finished. They obviously put these together all the way through. Look, so there's a top rebar going across now, and they're near on finished down the front of the patio area now, and you can see the boxing on the other side now, as it is on the other side. Boxing's been put all the way around that side, all the way around the perimeter, all the way around the storage area. Plumbers have been here running in more hot and cold, so this is where the mains is going to be housed in the house itself. That hot and cold comes up here and comes along and feeds downstairs, and there's hot and colds running all the way down in the beams that will be pulled later on, running down here as well. The electricians have been here as well and running in electrics for the pump room, the ventilation traps that we're putting in each one of the rooms as well. This steel is absolutely monstrous. God knows how much it is. I don't even want to know. I'd rather not know. Not too sure what that little puppy's doing. That's been laid down there. Yeah, that's that thing going there. As we showed earlier on, all the waste for the guttering has been put in through the actual. You might be able to see them, he says. You can just about see there's one there, look, so they've broken through a block, run that tube into there, and that tube goes all the way along over. And you can just see it coming out the other side. There's 3 of those. There's one over there, there's one here, and there is meant to be, which isn't here at the moment, there's meant to be one in here. So that's what they're going to do that next. There's meant to be another one here, bust through here, going all the way along, and that's for the ventilation should this ever become a bathroom downstairs at the back. The rebar at the front, that's been finished off as well. That is pretty much good to go. There's not really a lot more, apart from their crap. There's not really a lot more that can be taken off of here. They need to put a few more smocks on there because that's too close. So smock itself, this is all pretty much now done through the middle. They've got to extend that bit of pipe, which is another thing he's now expecting the owner to do, and the owner's not around. So that's got to be put all the way through here, because as we said, that's where the 4 tanks are going to go. They'll all be connected up to a pump, and that pump will literally drive the water through that sleeve all the way through, and then L-shape straight over here into the main cylinder for the house itself. So if we don't get that done, the main house is not getting any water. The electricians have also been in here today and put their conduits through so they can house the electrics. That will be in here at some stage. So there'll be light, vent, and its own power source for the pumps. You can see obviously pipe work going all the way along the side there. I'm not too sure what some of that is, because some of that's going all the way down to the pump room. But I assume that's because water has got to be fed from here down to the pump room in order to go into the swimming pool. So yeah, that'll be what that's for. And again, they run it all through the beams, and again the beams are going to be poured. Once that's poured, they're in and good. Nothing else happening there, that's for sure. The other thing that's been taking place today, which has been a bit painful to watch, is this is now finally at level. They've wet it and they've tried to compact it, but again, that compactor just breaks down all the time. So they've had a nightmare with that. They're also meant to pest treat as well. All marl has to be pest treated, and I'm pretty sure that hasn't taken place. So I need to talk to them about that tomorrow, because that's definitely got to happen. If you don't pest treat marl and you pour concrete on top, then eventually you'll end up getting huge pest issues, termites and all sorts. Not that we've got any wood in that part, but they can cause havoc. And then these are called starter bars. So then I've started putting some of the starter bars in and some of these returns. Starter bars have got to go all the way around. So, I mean, the whole house has got starter bars all the way around it, because once that's concreted, the starter bars are what land up going all the way through the block work that's going to continue. So you obviously put the starter bars in first in order to pour and then continue extending those starter bars through the blocks or block work. So that's pretty much where we are. Andy's having a little bit of a hissy fit today because he's been told to work harder. So he's not talking to any of us, including me. But anyway, tradespeople are just like having more children. Occasionally they're okay, but that's normally when they're getting away with having to do some work. And then you tell them off and they react. But anyway, it's been a reasonably good day, but again, no pouring tomorrow. Get a bit of a scratch record, unfortunately. But there was a lot of work to do, and I just don't think at the moment they're controlling the plan properly, which is why each day it's pouring tomorrow, doesn't pour tomorrow, doesn't pour. I think if all the time they don't control the plan properly, then they're going to keep on getting that. But the rumour is Monday now, so that's what was said last week. So fingers crossed we can aim for this Monday and grab it with both bloody hands and make sure it's achieved, because it has to be achieved. Can't keep on having this out in the open for too long. But in their defence, not that it probably gives you the justice that it deserves on camera, but if I go right over to potentially the far corner of the annex, call it annex because it's going to be the apartment, you can start seeing the enormity of it. It's a massive scale. So, you know, one, it's a big job to get ready for pour, and two, it's a bloody great space to pour. So that's pretty much where we are with it. So hopefully Monday that is going to get poured. I don't know, it'd be interesting to find out how many tons that actually is going to be. It's going to be a hell of a lot, that's for sure. But anyway, if I remember right, it's 106, day 106, so 106 over and out.